Hey, what's up? It's your boy Big G the CO coming at you again with yet another video about my experience. Before I get into it, make sure you hit that button, like, subscribe, share, let everybody know that Big G the CO is at it again. I want y'all to walk with me. Now today I'm going to talk about myself. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to submit, this is like my resume of my journey from the beginning all the way up to where I'm at today. Now, first of all, you already know I was correctional officer on Rikers Island for about 10 years, and then I did a bit up north for bringing in drugs, bringing in contraband, doing all kind of wild and crazy stuff on Rikers Island during my time there. Not proud of it, but I served my time, and quote unquote, now I'm a productive member of society. Some COs in law enforcement really don't care. Once you cross that line and disrespect the badge, they really think that you lower than low. I really don't care what no correction officer or no law enforcement person think of me. I know who I am. I know what I'm made of, and I know what I'm making my life today. Now, my journey after, like, when I became a correction officer, I already told you about that. I'm just talking about my journey after. My journey as an inmate, the trials and tribulations I went through, facing myself, facing my own demons of what I did to myself and my family. You know what I'm saying? Because when I look at the correction officer job, it's a job. You know, I'm not downplaying nobody who takes their job seriously, doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, whatever, CO, fire department, or whatever. But in the end, this is what I came to realize. And I learned this from people who retired from being correction officers. It's just a job. It's a job occupation that you take pride in as a human being of what you're doing. But the realization of it, because before I was a correction officer, I'm a decorated war veteran. I'm a Marine. I fought in the Desert Storm, Desert Shield War. I got mad ribbons and accommodations for being a Marine. Right now, when I walk down the street, nobody knows that I was a Marine. When you retire from being a correction officer, unless you're in that correction officer circle, nobody knows that you were a correction officer or anything else. I'm not downplaying it because, like I said, doctors, lawyers, NBA players, basketball players, whatever your occupation, you take pride in your occupation. Now, as far as law enforcement, you raise your hand, you take an oath, you swear your integrity that you're going to uphold the job to the best of his abilities. So I'm not knocking no correction officer or law enforcement person for not liking me, for not liking what I'm saying, what I'm delivering, how I'm telling it. But I'm telling the truth of what it is to be an officer. I'm telling my truth. And a lot of officers know it's the truth. Now, a lot of correction officers won't say nothing. They won't agree with me. But in their mind, they know the truth. So the only thing they can do, they're not going to say nothing derogatory about me. They're just not going to roll with me, but they're going to know what I'm saying is the truth. And what I mean by that is my story ain't everybody's story. You know what I'm saying? Everybody didn't take my journey. And I take my hat off and I salute the correction officers who didn't turn and didn't be corrupt and don't be corrupt. But my opinion is, and I'm going to say it, if you're a correction officer and you witness and you see another correction officer doing something wrong to an inmate, you're just as guilty if you don't stop and report him. Now, I know ain't nobody going to be a snitch. That's on him. If he get caught, I know as a correction officer, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. But guess what? It's a part of your job. You're a court-mandated reporter to report any wrongdoing to an inmate. I'm just putting it out there. Whether you think the inmate deserve it or not, whether you're doing it firsthand or you see your partner doing it, you're just as guilty. Now, here's my thing. I got out of jail 2008. You know what I'm saying? Born and raised Harlem, New York City. Born and raised in Harlem Hospital. Born and raised, came up in Polaroid Projects, one of the toughest projects in New York City. All the projects in New York City are tough, right? I got on parole as an inmate. Like, mind you, my charges don't say corrupt correction officer. It just says drug sale. I got drug sale, attempted drug sale, contraband. I got all that. All those are my charges. So, felony charges. So I got out and I was on parole. And my parole officer, I was determined not to let this job define me. This sentence of me being an inmate and having a felony define me. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that I wasn't this bad person. Yes, I did bad things. So I got to own up to it. That's why, respectfully, I wrote a book to tell my story about what I did. So I didn't want nobody else to tell my story. Because if you look in the paper, when I was in the paper, I'm on the front page of the Daily News, and I got the middle insult of the Daily News saying, I'm facing life in prison if convicted of all my charges. That's how serious it was. That's the message they wanted to send to other correction officers not to do what I did. And I agree with them. I agree with them 100%. So now here it is, upstate, doing my bid, and I'm contemplating, okay, when I get out, I got to hit the ground running. I know I'm going to have parole or post-release supervision, as they call it right now. So I got to mentally prepare myself to say, do whatever they tell me, so that I never got to go back to jail again. And that was my mindset. So from inside jail, what I did was I educated myself. I got the CDL book. I studied it, study, because I figured I lined up all jobs in New York City or anywhere that take people who have felonies. You know what I'm saying? So studied the CDL book. I got wind from a friend that Map Store MTA was hiring for bus drivers and that they hired people with felonies. So what I did was I applied for that job from inside prison. They responded. I was supposed to come home January 10th, 08. I had an appointment to go down to MTA February. They sent me that letter in jail. It was December. So as soon as I got released, I hit the ground running. I went and got the permit for the CDL, went to my PO to show him that I'm making an effort to get a job. Because guess what? One of the stipulations on being on parole or post-release supervision, you gotta maintain a job. If you don't maintain a job, they can send you right back to jail. Some people help you get jobs. Some people applaud you getting a job, but most of them, if you don't get that job, they send you right back. So here I am. I got the letter from the MTA saying you had an appointment in February for appointment to start the process to be a bus driver. Mind you, I just got out January. February, I got the letter. So I take that letter to my PO. He tells me I can't get the job. He says, if you get that job, then you can be making the same money that you were making as a correction officer, and then you're going to start selling drugs again. That was his take on me coming out as a law enforcement. I think he was doing it because I was law enforcement and I disrespected the badge. So I had to go get a $7 an hour job. He would not let me get that bus driver job. It wasn't even the MTA. I didn't even make it as far as going to the MTA because I had my learner's permit and I knew how to drive a bus already. So needless to say, I did what I had to do to get off parole. I had to be home at 9 o'clock every night. Sometimes he'll knock on my door at 7, 8 o'clock. I ain't had to be in to 9, but I made sure I did what I had to do not to give him no reason to violate me to send me back to jail. Now, fast forward. I dispute all these myths. You can't vote. You can't stay in jury duty. And once you get fired from a city job, city agency, you can't get another city job. All three of them, I do. I voted. I went to jury duty. And I told them straight up and down that I wrote a book about my life as a corrupt law enforcement person. Needless to say, the judge picked me, and I was there for about 2 months, staying in jury duty. So those myths are out the window. You lose a city job, you can get another city job. You don't lose your pension or nothing. Your pension rolls over with you. My pension from corrections rolled over to the other city job that I have right now, in which I got 1 year left, and I'm going to retire from that. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not bragging. I'm just telling people my journey. I hope it inspires somebody out there that's going through what I went through, coming out of jail. Don't let it stop you, because I didn't let it stop me. So now, fast forward. So now I'm working as a maintenance worker, right? And I put my book out there. I once again wrote my book, and being determined to get my story out there, because I didn't want nobody telling my story but me, and can't nobody tell it like me. So I would go out there and sell my book. Print it up, take my little chips, print it up, stand on 125th Street with this half orange, half blue for officer and inmate, stand on 125th Street out there dolo, selling my book. People laughed. Called me a clown, called me a fool, said all kind of craziness. People walking by me with their phone, videotaping your boy, look at this fool, posting me, and all kind of stuff. No problem. I wasn't worried about it because when I got busted and went to jail, I was already on the front page of the Daily News. You know what I'm saying? When the Daily News called me up from work at my lunchtime, they did an interview on me. Did a full spread on me in the Daily News about my book. Front page again. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the Daily News, been in the New York Times, Inside Edition, a couple of times. And a few years back, 2 inmates escaped from Dannemora prison. You know what I'm saying? CNN called me about 10, 11 times because I'm the corruption officer and I can give them insight about the mentality of a correction officer that's doing corrupt stuff and an inmate that's plotting on COs trying to escape. So I had inside knowledge of how to be a corrupt officer. I'm sorry. That's my expertise. I can tell you exactly what's going on. I can tell you exactly how to stop it too, as well. You know what I'm saying? So for about a good month until they caught these 2 individuals, I was on CNN giving my expert analysis about what they was doing, whether Joyce Mitchell, the female, was having sex with them and how they was able to escape with the help of a correction officer. I get emails from around the world every time a correction officer does something. There's craziness all over the world. COs are doing things all over the world. I just think they need to change the training for correction officers. That's my personal opinion. Neither here nor there. So now, Ben Stiller did a series called Escape from Dannemora. Check it out. Your boy is in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm in one of the first scenes that you see. Well, if you blink like this, you miss me. But without me, that series wouldn't be what it is. But yes, so I met Ben Stiller. You know what I'm saying? And I had a part in Escape from Dannemora, this series about the inmates that I was on CNN talking about. So my journey so far coming out of prison has been a positive one. I go around, I talk to kids, try to educate them about the importance of staying out of prison. I did a video already called Letter to the Youth on here. It got like 200, 300 likes, 400 likes. You know what I'm saying? But I don't care. That's 400, 500 people that heard my vision or my version or my speech about staying out of prison. Because that's basically what this page is for too. So any human being, adult, young and old, you look at my journey. If you're a correction officer, you look at my journey and know what not to do and know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you buy this book, it's definitely going to tell you what to do and what not to do. Now, correction officers have this code of blue, just like police department. Some police don't even like corrections, but they're both law enforcement in the whole, and everybody hold them up on these high pedestals. So some correction officers are not going to like what I say, how I say it, but it's straight and to the point. So a part of my journey is educating, talking to the youth, telling them not to go to prison. I keep looking down because I'm trying to keep, my notes because I want to get everything in. This is sort of like my resume. So now I done met Ben Stiller. I done been on Escape to Dannemora. So now I'm working as a maintenance worker. I'm working on the sink. My phone ring. I pick it up. And it's a woman from Philip Morris Endeavors or something like that agency, right? And basically, they had a celebrity or somebody who wanted to do the story on my book and turn my book into a movie. Excited. Yo, I'm with that. But she couldn't tell me who it is, right? So I'm bugging out. Like, how you can't tell me who it is? If you can't tell me who it is, how are we going to do business? So this went on for a couple of months. Finally, she called me and she could tell me who wanted to do it. And it was Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Will Smith Company, Overbrook Entertainment, wanted to do the movie for my book. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm working as a maintenance worker. I'm holding it down. I'm making decent money for a guy who came out of prison. You know what I'm saying? Keeping my nose straight. I go to work. I go home and I write. I go to work, I go home, and I write. So now I signed with Will Smith to do the movie for my book. So they, I'm learning the process about doing movie stuff, so attaching names to it. I'm not just throwing names out there. You can do your homework and check it out. Allegedly, Antoine Fuqua was told the director that's putting names. So here's the process. They got to put names to it, package it, and then take it to the networks. So that's what happened. FX picked it up. So my thing was supposed to be a series on FX. I had signed a deal with Disney because Disney owns FX. So far, this is my journey. I came out, got another city job, wrote a book, self-published it, put it out there. I'm out there on the avenue hustling, selling my books. You know what I'm saying? Let me rewind. They had something, before I got to deal with Will Smith, they got something called the Book Expo of America. Now, the Book Expo of America is where everybody go. The people come from all over. It's just like the car show at Jacob Javits Center, where people come to see the new cars. So people come to see the new books that's coming out from whatever agency. And since I was self-published, that little card table cost me a lot for what I was making. But I was determined to get my book out there. So at the Book Expo of America, the only person who came up to me interested in my book, really interested, because I didn't know at the Book Expo of America, it's not like the regular book expos, like the Harlem Book Fair. Book Expo of America, they expect you to give books away. You give books away to people, they read it, and then if they're interested, they come back, they check you out or whatever. So, Sister Soldier walked up to me, see me in my outfit, and said, "What happened?" I explained to her what happened. I was a correction officer on Rikers Island. I did wrong. I got busted. I became an inmate. I wrote my book. She took my book. She read it. She loved it. And next thing you know, I was talking to some people down at Simon & Schuster, the biggest book publishing company in New York, and I got a deal. So my book is official. It's signed. I'm no longer self-published. I have a book deal with Simon & Schuster, the book publishing company. I think that's one of the reasons why Will Smith Company optioned my book to make a movie out of it. So now, since I came out, got another city job, succeeded my parole, I done did jury duty, I done voted, I done got another city job, I'm working, my book is published by a major book publishing company, and my book has been optioned, by a major studio to be a movie. So fast forward, things was going kind of slow, because the movie business is slow, but I'm still working. I'm working on my second book and a third book, all about jail. And I got a fourth book too. So that's my steez. I write books and I tend to put them out under my own company that I have, Heyward Publication. So I'm saying this to let people know, same thing I'm doing, you could do it. I'm not a millionaire. I'm out here struggling, trying to make things happen, trying to figure it out just like everybody else. Only thing I'm saying is, don't let jail stop you. You still got dreams, you can still do it. Don't let nobody judge you. Don't let nobody tell you about you. So now, I got a book deal. My book has been optioned for a movie. Into the pandemic, everything stopped. Everything stopped. You know what I'm saying? Movies stopped, all this stuff stopped. And throughout the pandemic, then when the pandemic slowed up, FX, Will Smith, not so much FX, they had to change their heart, and then they released me. I'm not afraid to tell me they released me. I was just happy that they optioned my book from the get-go. So I'm still working on that. There's other people still interested in doing my book. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making it happen. So fast forward, sitting here, let me look at my notes. Let me see. Yeah. Another thing in my accomplishments, I've been able to meet a lot of people who love my book. Talk with Ludacris, Cardi B, you know what I'm saying? Ben Stiller, definitely that. Of course, Khalid Pinkett, Jada Pinkett's brother, Will Smith. Me and him met up a lot of times. He flew to New York, I flew to California, back and forth, making this thing happen. And it still might happen. So, like I said, I've had a journey with my situation that I'll be presenting to people to let people know not to give up on themselves. So far, let me see. I done been on CNN, Fox 5 with Ray Kelly. You know, Regis and Ray Kelly talking about my book. When, rest in peace, when George Floyd, I've been talking about issues about what happened with George Floyd. Rest in peace, Sandra Bland. I was called Pix 11. I did Pix 11 with Sandra Bland. I had an interview on Channel 7 with Sandra Bookman. You know, Sukanya Christian of Pix 11 had me there up there several times, just like CNN. You know what I'm saying? Talking about prison reform and the things we could do to change things in prison. I was on Street Soldiers with Lisa Evers. So this is not just for play. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I go around, I talk to kids about the importance of staying out of prison. I was on the New York Times. The New York Times, there was a lady, she was like about 88 years old, walked up to me when I was selling my book, self-published at the time, on 125th Street. And she said, young man, I don't read nothing but the Bible, but I want to read your book. I think your story is interesting. And I was just honored that this lady with so much knowledge, so much of a historian, wanted to read my book. So that's just a little gist of what I go through, my journey up to today. You know what I'm saying? It's Big G, the corruption officer, the CO. I got more stories coming at you. If anybody wants, you could do an investigation. You could Google my name. Everything pops up. I don't have to lie about nothing. It's your boy, Big G. Walk with me.